right. You just heard it in the update. Ivan Provorov, 7 years, 8.5 per. The YouTube chat wants to know your take.
All right, so let me start with this. The market for D-men now is really high as far as salary. So this doesn't completely blow me away. And a lot of people believe that Ekblad would have gotten 9+ on an open market anyway if he didn't take a pay cut to stay in Florida. So I think we all have to just set up our relative expectations of who we are, what we need, and how much we have to pay. And this has been a story for a long time with the Jackets, overpaying to retain free agents in the past and elevating what they want to pay. It's not a great contract. No one would ever make me believe that this is something like the Fabro I thought was a really good value signing. This kind of washes away the value for me. They become a wash. They haven't done anything as far as goalies. I didn't hear Don Waddell mention anything yet about if he was trying to swing for a vet goalie. Hasn't. I said to you yesterday, the momentum has kind of halted for me in this, but going into the draft, I didn't have crazy expectations about what they were going to try to do. Nikolai Ehlers is still out there, and they could try to swing. Besser's staying. Gavrikov got a big deal to stay. And I'm just telling you right now that you may have to just feel like you're the high floor defensive team to protect some goalies. Not that he's going to do that single-handedly for sure, but it's the one part of their team in the net, Matty, that they cannot count on night in, night out yet. If they can, then we'll take our eyes off of this contract of Provorov and be very happy that Jet Greaves worked out or Elvis has become more consistent and he's not guessing all the time. Doesn't have these real highs and lows. But this contract is massive. I don't think that we'll look upon this contract as something, even with the cap going up, like that they got anything close to normal value. But on paper, he's a good player. He's not worth this. But in Columbus, Ohio, when you're trying to shore up defensively a little bit and keep things at a certain level, I think it's the price you had to pay. They didn't have to pay it. Let me say that again. They did not have to do this. And I feel like maybe the lack of splash that he's made plus the money he had to spend was probably what led to this.
And so, yeah, there's some sticker shock there for me, no doubt. Well, when I saw that AAV, and maybe what they're thinking is this is the guy that we know. We know he's going to be available because that's all he's done is show up night in and night out. I mean, his last year in Philly, he played 82 games, and his couple laps around the track here in Columbus, he's played 82 in every season. So that has to mean something, right? Is this something that's really going to round out the defense for our Jackets and really take them to a whole nother level? I don't think so, but I think he could be a part of something better if they can find a way to make another move or two on that side of the ice. Because I think firepower-wise on offense, ceiling's fairly high, right? With Marchenko and Fantilli and those guys and what we saw from them, this team goes up to a whole nother level if they do what we've been talking about a lot. And it's get consistent playmaking in the net, but the guys out in front outside of Z really got to be out there as well doing their thing. So the number, I'm with you. I don't love it, but when you're in a position like you laid out where Columbus is and where this team is, I don't know how many other options that they really had that we would look at as reasonable or better than what they just did.
Yeah, they paid for a need.
Yeah.
They overpaid for a need. I'm not going to deny that. I like Provi. I think he's a good player. He's going to eat a lot of minutes. He's going to be counted upon. There are guys that make more than they're probably worth, and he's going to be one of those. But it's kind of supply and demand with Columbus, and they're close to making the playoffs. And they feel like they want to not make the giant leap forward because you have to think about the future a little bit, but they probably weren't in great position. And then the one thing we always fight, and we've had it for a while, unless you trade for him, you have to overpay. Yeah. And it's just, I think that's where we are. So I'm not going to get into that whole thing about the Columbus tax and how you got to overpay because nobody wants to come here, because guys do want to come here. Certain guys do. But I want to be real about it as well. And if certain guys want big city, bright lights, or they want something more cultural for them, then you can't argue. The fact that he stayed for the money and they got him. And I'm happy that he's a part of the team. I don't know if this will come back to haunt them. Who knows? With the rising cap, it may not. But it's not a bargain deal. We know that.
No.
And so this is kind of like the price of doing business and staying competitive. And if they didn't, you would have had the same amount of people probably yelling, I can't believe they let him go. Maybe not overwhelmingly, but there would have been some of those that, okay, they got close and now they're rebuilding again. So I just think I'm going to come back to this is the price of doing business for a defenseman with the experience that he has in Columbus, Ohio, and where they are as a team. He had the leverage, he played it, and they paid it.